Hello again everyone, thanks for stopping by. It's Joe here from Living the Learn. I just thought I'd pop on really quickly and have a chat about the repair kits. There's an awful lot of videos out there and all the kind of more prevalent kits like fire kits and haversack kits and stuff like that. But what I don't see or more of is repair kits. Now, having a repair kit is no replacement for being able to sew or being able to kind of have a basic knowledge of field repair stuff on the fly. But what I found is that on my longer expeditions, I don't like to take but on my longer trips, I don't like to take chances when it comes to my gear. Like some of the stuff I use, I'm a camp hiker, so I tend to go on long walks. It could be 3-4 hours into a forest, maybe a couple of days into a forest, and the stuff I use is a mix and match of pioneery bushcraft stuff and modern day ultralight stuff. And the modern day ultralight stuff is a bit harder to repair because you have your sil nylons, your Cuban silk, your mosquito netting, your thermarest kind of machine sealed seams for airtight functions and stuff like that. So when I do go on these trips, I carry a small repair kit with me for all the items in the field that I personally can't repair or replace myself. So what I used to carry them in was this beast. This is a Maxpedition Faddy organizer. It's the biggest one of the three. It's a bit of a beast. I have an Algae bottle here for comparison. You can see this thing's a monster. I mean, it's absolutely huge. But like carrying a spare suitcase on holiday or building a new room in your house, if you have it, you'll fill it. So what I done was in my early days was fill this. I just have this is just my water filter, my Sawyer Mini, with a 16 ounce and a 32 ounce pouch in there for when I'm tipping away. Just a quick one. I'd recommend getting a 32 ounce one because at least you're able to fill your 32 ounce bottles or your litre bottles in one trip. It can be a bit frustrating having to do it twice. But this is what I used to use. And this thing used to be stuffed, proper stuffed, with just so much gear, batteries and spare bulbs and absolutely everything. But over the past year or so, I've been keeping notes in my journal of when I actually use this and what I actually use out of it. And by keeping a record like that, I've been able to kind of whittle it down. Now the pouch itself, without getting too ultralight on it, is a heavy enough L pouch. It's Cordura, it's got zips, and I needed to trim that down. Plus I'm not a fan of square stuff. I either prefer it to be round, or like in my tarp video, I like it to be malleable to help me pack my bag a bit better. I find it easier to pack round stuff. So I swapped this out for one of this. This is a heavy waxed canvas tool roll that my brother Mark made me. I was going to buy one, but he had some spare canvas and he said he'd make me one, and I absolutely love it. So that in itself, the tool roll in itself, is already lighter than this because I've been able to reduce it down. You can see here it is literally just the size of an Algae bottle, so you can keep it in the side pouch of your bag, or if you trim it down, you can move stuff around in it. You can make it a bit smaller. But what I done was with my notes is like, right, well, I don't need this and I never use them, so I managed to trim it down to what I actually do use in the field, or have used in the field several times over, and I keep them with me. So here we go. Flops up. Here we go. So we'll start from this side and work our way across. Now again, most of this stuff I would not bring with me on an overnighter. There's no real need. If my thermarest was to burst, or if I was to rip my mosquito netting, a bit of duct tape would do it fine until I got home and was able to repair it. But on the longer trips, the 4 day, week, 3 week kind of trips, not carrying a repair kit with you is a bit of madness. Again, this weighs absolutely nothing. Yours could be lighter. I carry a multi-tool in here, so it's not exactly weight friendly. But in the first pocket, I have a field strap that was made for me by Gallagher Leatherworks. I wanted one that originally sat in these pockets here of the Maxpedition pouch, so was handier. so it's designed to fit in the Maxpedition pouches. But I used to use an LT right belt strap on a tree. I used to tie it on a tree or on a branch or around my foot in the evening times, and I'd strap on the belt. But I found on a long trip that I was on, a 2-week trip that I was on, that when I was strapping it at the end of every second night, or after a day of really heavy use on my knife, that I eventually dulled the knife because I couldn't get enough tension on the leather strap. Now, that's not saying that strap is bad, but it just personally didn't work for me. So this is what I have, and I use this a lot. This is a new one because a friend of mine put his eyes on my old one, and I sent it to him. So I have this one here. This is a brand new one. Then I have the Falcon Even DC4. This I'm kind of still on the fence about. I have used it, but not as much as I would like to. I mean, it's an absolutely great stone. This isn't a review of the stone. DC4 needs no introduction. Feel free to check it out. But it's a weighty bit of kit, and I have used it once, but it was actually for my son, who rolled the edge of his knife, and it was nice just to touch it up. But it's always one of those, especially on my 2-week trips, it does axes as well. I use it on my axe more so than my knives. I use it on my axe quite a lot, actually, because they tend to chip out more. So on the longer trips, I would take that with me. Then the next pocket, I have my multi-tool. I mean, it'd be just use this. It's got a spare blade. It's got small little ones for carving, for traps and stuff like that. It's got screwdrivers in it for my torches and stuff should they break, or little gas stoves, making adjustments to gas stoves. This is the Leatherman Super Tool 300. Not sure if this is the Pathfinder edition. I do have the Pathfinder edition, but this is in there, and it's being used. It's a great bit of kit. So that sits in that pocket. They sit in that pocket. I keep a small syringe for use with, say, the glues that I keep up here. It's just for a bit of precision application. I never like to waste anything. So rather than just squeezing stuff on and having a big patch of glue, I'm able to put it into a syringe, and it gives me a bit more precision when placing it. This one down here, I have 2 products from Magnet that I recommend everybody should pick up. If you carry nothing else, you should carry 2 of these things. This one here is Gore-Tex patches for my bivy bag. As I kind of hit on in my bivy bag video, that your bivy is your kind of first and last line of defense against wet weather should any of your other equipment fail. So it's always nice to have one of these. Again, sewing is not a skill that I would laugh at, but if you're on a 3 or 4 day hike and the weather happens to be miserable, stitching a hole in a bivy bag isn't going to make it waterproof again, whereas these will. I think these were only €6 delivered to the door. I also use them on clothing. They do for Gore-Tex jackets and absolutely everything else. You can see there, it's a fairly decent sized patch. You get 2 in a pack. They don't need any glue, they're ready to go. Just peel it off, press it on. I actually have a soft shell jacket that I used one of these on, that ripped on some brush when I was hiking. It's been through the wash I don't know how many times, and it still has one of these patches still on it. The Magnet products use 3M glue, and I can't fault them. I actually was so impressed with one, that's why I went out and got them. So that's for my bivy bag. So if I tear up my bivy bag or mangle it on a bit of brush, and sometimes even when I go on overnighters, I have one of these in my overnight bag. I mean, it weighs absolutely nothing. It's small and compact. It's about the size of a 12 gauge shotgun shell. So there you go. That's that one. This one here is Sil nylon repair tape and tent repair tape. Both different grades of tape. So there you go. I got mine in green. This stuff is incredibly cheap. You can find it on eBay. Magnet do it, but there's cheaper suppliers out there who will sell you your desired length off a roll. You can choose from whatever measurement you need, whether it be half a meter or a meter and above. But this stuff is absolutely amazing. We were on a camp one time in Glenmalure, and the fire had collapsed, as fires do, and sent a shower of sparks all over the place, and it turned my friend's tarp into Swiss cheese. Now, it was fine the first night because it was dry, but the other 2 nights it rained quite heavily, and it was actually him that had this on him at the time. And we repaired his tarp, and I have to say, as rough as you treat tarps, it's folding them back into dry sacks and pulling them around the place and hitting them with hoses. Years later, His tarp still has these on it. It is good quality tape. This is just some McNet repair tape that I have, just to keep it safe. So I mean, if nothing else out of this whole kit, I would recommend getting these two. Again, they're small, compact. They weigh absolutely nothing. And like that, they're about the size of two shotgun cells. So in even these two alone, you have enough to repair a small to medium tear in your bivy bag instantly. And then you can repair, if I could roll in stock footage, I'd show you, but I have one of these on the bottom of my DD hammock. In the DD hammock there's a section where you can slide your sleeping pad, and I ripped that one night on some brush, the outer shell of it, not the inner shell, thanks be to God, and I repaired it with this, and it's still there to that day, has no problem. And in this pouch here I have some, and you can see all this stuff is super light and very cheap, great thing to just keep tipping along at and using. But this is mosquito repair nets. I do an awful lot of hiking in Sweden, and the mosquitoes over there, especially towards the Norwegian border, are absolutely nuclear. They're like Chernobyl sized mosquitoes, and they're just insane. So ripping my mosquito net can be bad trouble, especially since I bedroll. I use a double mosquito net between two trees to keep my bedroll safe and give me a spot to eat some lunch. So the last thing I don't want is that mosquito net to be ripped. Again, this is McNet, top quality stuff. Uses 3M glues. Nice to have. I have a Thermarest instant field repair kit. These are a little pricey, but they give you absolutely everything you need to repair your Thermarest. My bivy bag, which is up here, and my Thermarest are two of my most important pieces of kit. The bivy bag for keeping me dry, and my Thermarest for keeping me comfortable. Now, if you're on an overnighter and your Thermarest or your sleep pad in general, this does all sleep pads, not just Thermarests. It just happens to have extra bits of kit in here specifically for Thermarests. But if my Thermarest was to burst on an overnighter, it's no big deal. I could make a debris bed or whatever and make it through the night. I'll be a little uncomfortable, but I would make it home. But on a 4-day hike, a week-long hike, 3-week-long hike, I plan on doing a couple of huge hikes over the next couple of years, and I wouldn't want my Thermarest to fail me. So should I lie on a bit of heavy brush, or one night I'm super tired and I don't pay attention to where I'm putting my bivy bag down on my bedroll down, and I happen to puncture my Thermarest, at least I know I got an instant fix in here. Again, all this stuff weighs absolutely nothing and packs away to nothing. I keep a tough cloth, a marine tough cloth. This is for my knives. Yeah, you can use vegetable oil and you can use other stuff, but I tend to try and just carry this. This does all metals. It'll do your knives, it'll do your multi-tools, it'll do your axes, and it's just a way of protecting it from water. If you've had a hard day and it's been raining, or you've been chopping through some wet timber, just one pass with this and your knife is waterproof. This is still the original one I've had. These things last forever, but they're pretty pricey. Now I say pretty pricey, they're about €20 up, but because you can only get them out of the States, I don't know any Irish supplier. But if you happen to be a shooter or live near a shooting shop, Hops or Hoppies, whatever you prefer to call them, also do a version of this for wiping down gun barrels and stuff. They're the exact same cloth. You may be able to get them down your local hunting shop. It's just I haven't needed to buy one because I still use my original one. There's an earplug. Didn't know that was in there. There you go. I always carry spare sets of earplugs. And then the last one is just a 100 grit and 320 grit sandpaper for, again, maybe some light stropping if I needed to, or I'm making a spoon, or you know what you need sandpaper for. Plus it's also nice for the prep patches, like kind of if you're repairing your bicycle tire, sometimes some really high grit sandpaper just to abrase up the surface so you can do what you need to do. So again, all these things are all pretty small and pretty cheap. It's a nice way to slowly build up your kit. Again, even if it's just you have these two in your bag, that'll do you fine. This is just what I found I used and what I carry. Just make this away here really quick. There you go. And then last but not least, this is my PKS for the knife people who watch and would like to see it. It's blued, so again helps with erosion. It's a lovely knife made by the guys at the Pathfinder knife shop. But the reason why I'm showing you that is on the back of all my knives, or most of my knives, I have 3 of these. I carry a heavy gauge sail needle, or if you wanted to, you could carry a heavy gauge leather needle. It's all the same, but I keep a bit of duct tape wrapped around the top of it so I can use it as an awl, or if I need to repair leather products and stuff like that. Now again, it's just so I always think that there's always a nice middle ground between these things. Like, I like the pioneery kind of leathery bushcraft stuff because it's easy to repair and it can be cheap depending on where you go. I also like the ultralight stuff because it's ultralight and then less weight means more miles. So I tend to use bushcraft to supplement my kit. And like the living to learn ethos is, the more you know, the less you carry. More Skahansky style. So here we go. We've got a pretty modern repair kit wrapped in an old school bushcraft wax canvas pouch, which is lighter and more waterproof than most modern repair pouches, and looks aesthetically pleasing, but carries all my modern materials for repairing my modern kit. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and I will be posting this video on the Live and Learn community as always. Feel free to pop on and have a look, and I'd love to see your guys' repair kits in the comments, or if you have any ideas on how I could improve mine. I'm always willing to try new stuff, but just over the past year I find that this is what I use and what I need. Yes, it could be trimmed down a little more. I could take the Leatherman out of it and the DC4 out of it, but on my longer trips I'd sacrifice that bit of weight to have them and not need them, than need them and not have them. So there you go. Thanks for watching as always. It's a great community and I enjoy it and look forward to the future. Ciao out.